sugar and foods. Yeah. That's what we did. Sugar and grits. Look,
no,
don't judge me.
No, I've never put sugar and grits. And people who do that, I judge them. Sugar and jelly and grits,
Not sugar and grits.
You're supposed to put cheese, salt, and pepper, and butter in grits. If you want to do sugar, you eat oatmeal.
Mm-hmm. Sugar and grits, sugar and spaghetti.
No. Sugar is...
You buddy the hell?
Podcast. We are back, episode 5. We back. This time a little special though, man. We got my boy Vip in the house.
VIP.
Yeah. We had a replacement.
Yeah, we had a replacement. The last light-skinned dude was not getting the job done. So Vip, just to let you know, you got one chance, bro. You got one chance.
Yeah, the last light-skinned dude kept talking about he was crying and doing all this.
I said, Coach Vic hated you. Hated me. She said, why? I said, I don't know.
I think I was light skinned.
Yeah.
I think I was.
And he was unstable. Not the light skin.
Bro, light skin safeties don't do well, bro.
Yeah, they don't.
Well, honey badger.
Come on, bro. Stop trying to like.
Hey, I would say you got big shoes to fill, but they little shoes. So
you good.
It's like the story of Wally Pipp. You know Wally Pipp? Wally Pipp was a Yankee player. He came into work one day, said he had a headache. They took him out the lineup. They put Lou Gehrig in. Lou Gehrig goes to have a Hall of Fame career.
That's all she wrote.
Hey.
Nobody knows Wally Pipp.
All right, Jeff. All right, now.
All right, Wally Pipp.
Nah, for real though, Bill, it's good to have you on, man. Our boy Jeff is currently in Italy right now. Italy celebrating his 2-year anniversary. Congratulations to you guys.
Congratulations.
You guys are having an amazing time. We see the pictures and the videos.
Yeah, actually, they got a special message for us, so we're going to put that up on the screen for you all right now.
Now that I'm looking back, I can see all the signs I tried to fill in the cracks that were spread in my mind, but I was all out of hope, lost in an endless maze. The emptiness had unfolded just like a void, but you broke the coldness somehow and lit up a flame. And ooh, I was done feeling hopeless, screamed out loud because it felt impossible in my bones, like getting blood out of.
Man, hey, he living it up out there.
He is.
Mr. Worldwide.
So,
Mr. Worldwide.
worldwide, man.
Worldwide.
That's right.
So I can't remember the name of the hotel that he's at, but he's at
Some HB,
5-star.
something. Yeah. Some 5-star. Maybe 6. Maybe 6.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it, man. So we got Meiomi. Man, definitely 4 and above.
Yeah.
Right? So let me tell you a little bit about Meiomi. Sound like Naomi.
It's a Pinot Noir.
Pinot Noir is from California. Straight from the grapevine, man. I'm kind of excited about this. Jeremy, you suggested this one, right?
Yeah. I love this Pinot. I have this quite a lot, often, every now and then in the cupboard. So this is a really good, refreshing one. We'll see. We'll see what the actual tasting notes are. But yeah, you can't go wrong with Pinot. You got, we've been on a lot of cabs and Malbecs in the last episodes.
They was trying to do cab again tonight. I was like, nah, it's time to switch it up. Actually, on the back of it, it mentions a little bit more information on it. We'll talk about that right quick. Meiomi, it means coast, so it truly symbolizes the origin of this Pinot on the coast of California, and it's notable. California is notable for its wine growing, so we'll get right into it. We'll see what everybody
How we feeling?
Let's do it. Smell test.
Smell test. See what it smell like.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Come on, somebody.
I actually do have a smell today, fellas. I actually do have a smell today. And it's not just one. I actually smell strawberries.
Okay,
I was
strawberries.
gonna say I smell some berries.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely some type of berries, mixed berries.
Smell good.
Toast up.
And to the new light skinned guy, man.
Hey, remember you got one shot. Oh, that's good.
It's real good.
That's fire. What you think, Vip?
I honestly feel like the guy who wasn't prepared for an assignment right now. I'm just picking up whatever you guys are saying because my dad is from Italy, big wine guy. I didn't get that gene from him. He's the guy, like you guys were talking about that first episode. He's sniffing it before it comes out. He's getting that taste, making sure it's good. Me, they all kind of taste the same, but this does taste a little sweeter to me, and it's a little easier for me to drink than I think a normal wine.
Okay, what's your normal go-to? Or you're not a big wine person?
I'm not a big anything type person where I'm pretty flexible and can kind of go with whatever the flow is that night or with whoever I'm with that night.
Okay, cool.
Man, let's get into it. So you said your dad's from Italy, right? Tell us about yourself. You know, where you from? How'd you get to where you are today? And what are you doing now?
And Vip, he's not just a guest. He's family as well. Carolina fan. He's gonna talk a little bit about that, but definitely share about. He's a very esteemed person as well. We want to big up Vip. He's doing a lot of major things, so we don't want to let that go over anybody's head.
Yeah. So I'm from New York originally. Like I mentioned, my dad was born in Italy. My mom was born in New York. They met in New York. My dad moved here when he was like in his 20s. So Italian is his first language. He wasn't a big sports guy. He'll watch a Carolina game if he knows Carolina's on, just because he knows how much I care about him. Or if I want to go to like a Knicks game with him, like he's always been somebody who's like, all right, get the tickets and we'll go, even knowing that like he doesn't really know what's going on from more of a it's more of like a surface level type viewing, but that's always been something that I've always respected about him. So I grew up in New York, played football, basketball, baseball growing up. Actually got cut from the basketball team my junior year. It was a good, don't give me those looks. It was good. Oh, that's wet. I got cut in 11th grade, so I'd say advantage Paige first, set the tone. No, actually I want you to go first so I know what I mean. It was a good...
Hey, I got cut from my 7th grade team. Never tried out again.
It was a good basketball team I got cut from. The next day, I didn't know what I was going to do. Showed up to the track team. My first track meet, I ran like a really fast time and started getting recruited by schools like North Carolina and Michigan, Florida. Those were my final 3 schools. And that was a weird flip for me because I really wasn't getting recruited for any other of the sports I was playing. And I show up for my first day of track and I start getting all this interest. Eventually picked Carolina, ran track my freshman year. Really wasn't for me. I was never somebody who loved track growing up. Got in contact with the football coaches, walked on. That's how I met all you guys. The best experience of my life, getting to play football for those 3 years. And after football, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And my senior year, I tore my ACL, and I started picking up a camera and trying to learn how to shoot videos. Whether it was like, Mitch Trubisky wanted a highlight tape, I could cut it, make him a highlight tape. Switzer wanted a highlight tape, I cut it for him. Matt Collins. And then as I started putting those together, I was like, what if I get on camera and tell fans like what they do well and something I think I could do. So I started practicing that way and have been doing it ever since, and with Inside Carolina, who's owned by CBS Sports right now, and just trying to build every day and get better.
Nice.
Okay. So I noticed you said that when you first got to school, for track, obviously, you realized that wasn't for you.
such in a short time? Like, what was that like for you? Because a lot of people, as you said, like get in the situation just because that's what they're handed at the moment, and it may not be for them. So being that you were able to say, you know what, this ain't for me, kind of walked away from it, and what you said, started playing football, and that was kind of the best 3 experiences of your life. So kind of talk about that a little bit.
So when I was getting recruited and coming into Carolina, I knew the head coach for the track team was retiring. But what I didn't know is the new coach brought in a new sprint coach, and me and him just kind of bumped heads from the start, where I was a 400 runner. He wanted me to run the 800, and my body would just reject the 800. Every time I ran it, like I would get like super sick, and I was like, I can't run this 800. And he's like, I think you could be good at it if you just stick to it. And I'm like, I'm letting you know right now, I'm like, my body is rejecting this every time.
This ain't for me.
I'm throwing up every time I'm running this race. Like, something's not right here. So that was when I kind of made the decision I was either going to just be a normal student or try to play football. Got in contact with Coach Brewer at the time, and they put me through like a walk-on tryout. The toughest part, I would say, was, I had like that base friend group from track. And then once I was away from track, I wasn't practicing with them anymore. I wasn't like hanging out with them as much anymore. So like coming into football, it was like, I had like, I don't want to say normal student friends, but like just friends that didn't play a sport. So I had that base still, but like even then it was just like a very alone feeling when you're going into football, and you guys had already been there for a year and didn't really know too many people. Besides like the people that I was in classes with. But I think that was one of the most surprising things, like how welcoming everybody was when I joined the football team, where, it didn't matter if I'd been there one day or a year already, or if I was on scholarship or was never going to contribute to the team. It was like the second I joined that team, like it was so welcoming.
It really is a brotherhood. It's family. But I'm gonna go back to you talking about your body rejecting the 800. That's a good way of putting it. Because I ran the 400 in high school, man, and complete rejection. I'm talking Matumbo rejection. So I can only imagine running the 800 and the 400 for that to be your race is still, tremendous, incredible. So, man, so you talked about playing football, right? You talk about being a walk-on. What was the wide receiver room look like? What was that experience like? You had Ryan Switzer and Mac Hollins. Obviously, Coach Brewer was a coach. What was the dynamic in there?
Yeah, it was hectic at times, but Coach Brewer was always somebody that kept that room fun, and it was a really close group. You had guys like Quinshot, Bug Howard, Mac, Austin Pearl, like all those guys at the time. Like we were super close, and again, it didn't matter if you were a starter. It didn't matter if you were the last guy in the room. Like everybody went in with that same mindset of like, let's make everybody as good as possible. And like, it didn't matter. Like everybody had the same voice in that room. It wasn't like, oh, only the starters can talk. And I think that was why that receiver room always was so well, because of how close everybody was. Like, it didn't have to be just in that meeting room. Like when we were all hanging out, like we would go to Ep.5 to get pizza together. We would go out on the weekends together, and it's like, I think that's kind of what makes like a good team in college, like that closeness and that togetherness, where it's like, we didn't really have like the wide receivers. I think were always close for us. But I think the biggest difference that 2014 to that 2015 team was that like togetherness and everybody kind of all buying in together.
Yeah, I want to touch on that because that's huge. That's huge, and I've always prided Coach Brewer on kind of keeping that family atmosphere. Like you walk in their room, they got candy machines, pictures of everybody on the wall. You know what I'm saying? And you go into other meeting rooms, it's just a cold room. It's all about business. You know what I'm saying? And playing football obviously was a 5-year grind every single day of your life, like a grind. So having that balance from like playing football, learning football, and actually like still having that family togetherness, like that plays a huge part in, as you said, how successful a team can be. So shout out to Coach Brewer for that, man.
Free at Maryland now.
Yeah, talk about as well. So while you were at Carolina, were you a journalism major?
No, so I wasn't.
Okay.
I was.
That's a big thing too. Yeah. Now you're kind of in that field. So yeah, talk about.
I was exercise and sports science. So by the time I realized that I wanted to do like journalism, I think you had to apply by the end of your sophomore year to get into the J school. Yeah. By the time I tore my ACL and was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, it was my senior year already. So like with the I was basically finished with all my major EXSS classes. So then I started to just fill my schedule with like journalism classes. And the one I took that kind of like resonated with me the most was this class called Sports Extra. And it was basically, you're just putting on a weekly sports show. So everybody has like their different roles. Like there's producers, there's directors, there's on-camera people. And that was like the first time where I was teaching myself like how to shoot video, how to edit it all together. I like went into it not knowing anything. Like the first time I had to go out and shoot a video, like I didn't even have an SD card in the camera. Man. I kind of just assumed like somehow it would record. And I called somebody from my class like, hey, I don't think this is recording me. She was like, yeah, you don't have a card in the camera.
Yeah, that's the worst. That's the worst.
Yeah, it was humbling. But like that class like taught me so many things, and it like there wasn't really the Professor Tuggle. He was just kind of watching it from a far away perspective, and it was kind of like you're either gonna have to learn how to do this, or you're gonna sink. So I think being like thrown into that environment really helped me, because a lot of times now when I talk to people, like when I reach out to like people at ESPN, the first thing they're like is, do you know how to like shoot? Do you know how to edit? I'm like, yeah, I'm on camera, but like I'm the only person on my team right now. So it's something where I have to be able to know everything, or at least bits of everything.
So that's the best way to learn. Sometimes, figure it out. Yeah. You get out there, it's sink or swim. And until you told me that just now, I didn't know you're the only person on your team. Yeah. Because your product is clear, and it's clean. Yeah. And I really don't understand, like, professional. Yeah. Are you reading off a script, or do you just memorize all that stuff? Because it's incredible how when you just fly through all the stats and gameplay.
It depends on what I'm doing. Sometimes I have like a teleprompter, kind of showing people how the sausage is made here. But sometimes top secret. Sometimes I have a teleprompter, and sometimes the teleprompter is only like a few like notes or stats that I really want to have. Like thinking back to this past week, like Carolina's defense was really bad, and they had like the 126 total defense. So if I know like I have a ton of things that I want to say and want to make sure, like I'll put like notes or kind of just like a guide of what I want to say, and just kind of let it flow from there. Yeah.
I think for commentators, at least because we were actually looking at Stephen A. Smith today, the commentators who keep it real, right? Yeah. And they tell the good and the bad. You said when you first started with Mr. Trubisky and them, you were saying, I know what they do well, and I can speak to that. You also know what teams and individuals are doing bad. And when you were calling out Carolina's defense, you kept it real. I mean, to the point where it was like, I'm reading, I'm like, I cannot believe he said that. But at the same time, it's true, real content. And I went and looked at the comments too. Because I'm like, they got to be like, get this guy off. Like, why is he talking so much trash about Carolina? But everybody agreed. They were like, they have not played well, and you kept it real. So that's nice.
So a question about that. I actually watched it too, and I was like, dang, Bill. But when doing that, do you kind of like subconsciously think about like, oh crap, am I saying too much? Am I being too harsh? Or
what goes
on what goes on in your head? You're like, okay, I'm just spill it out.
I try to keep it as honest as possible, just because I think that's what comes across the best. If I'm just being like my authentic self, and if a team's not playing well, no matter if I played there or not, like if I get on camera and I'm like, they're trying their best, or things aren't as bad, like people could see that, like I'm just not keeping it real with them. Mm-hmm. And I think that was the biggest thing for me, trying to be authentic. But there's definitely times where like that sucked to do. Like when I first started with Inside Carolina, it was the 2017 season where Carolina won 3 games. It was the 2018 season where Carolina won 2 games. Right. And like a lot of those people on the team were either guys we played with or, you know, coaches I played with, and they're 2-9 or whatever they were. And like it like hurt me to talk about like how bad they were. And, when players just aren't like at that Power 5 type level at a school like North Carolina. And every week, like I would talk to my parents and be like, you know, I really don't want to do this. Like just because I knew like going into every game, like this team is probably going to lose and I'm going to have to get on camera and talk about how bad they are. But it was just one of the things where I kind of had to separate like the personal relationships I had on the team with the business aspirations that I have, just because, you know, I am trying to make it to a certain level, and it is a great opportunity to get on front of camera on a platform like CBS Sports and kind of talk about the North Carolina football team.
So what is that next level? Like, where do you want to be ultimately, you know, like, and what steps do you have to take to get to that point?
Yeah, I think like my ultimate dream would be to do what I'm doing now just on like a national level. So whether it's talking about like whatever the game of the week is for ESPN, or like going to the game of the week for ESPN or CBS Sports, or even doing it for like an independent, it doesn't even have to be a ESPN or CBS Sports, Fox Sports, just a company that does have that like national appeal, where I'm not just singularly covering one team, because I think that's where the toughness part of it comes in, where I'm only focusing on one team, where, you know, you guys know it, like a team's gonna have good weeks, a team's gonna have bad weeks, and that makes it tough. Or if I am doing like a singular focus on a team, then to go to like, you know, be like the ESPN guy that covers the Raiders, or the ESPN guy that covers the Knicks, because I love college football, but like I didn't grow up with college football in New York. Like it was NBA, NFL, MLB to a certain extent. But for me, like, I think people are always surprised when they find out like the Knicks are my number 1 team growing up.
Not the Knicks.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Talk about the Knicks.
Hey, Jalen Brunson, I believe in you.
That's because his last name is Brunson.
Oh God,
that's because of.
I knew that was
We're gonna pray for you on that one.
Can we get Taylor some water? The Knicks fan. Well, man, that's some grinding, right? I mean, the Knicks, they haven't
made it easy.
Yeah. But you're a loyal fan.
Yeah, I think that's the best trait about the New Yorkers. We're loyal to a fault.
Yankees.
Yankees have given us some success, but they're pretty down right now. The Jets have been one of the biggest loser franchises that I could think of. So I lived with Mac Hollins in college. Mac was a walk-on like me and CB.
Shout out Mac.
Blew up, made it to the NFL, and on his draft night, I was with him in Maryland, and I was like, hey, whatever team you go to, I'm leaving the Jets. And he was like, well, what if I go to the Jets? I'm like, 31 chances that you don't. So I'll take those chances.
So I noticed something you said when you were talking about how you kind of like starting covering that single team, just kind of being the only person to cover every aspect of it. Like, do you consider that just being part of the grind and kind of sort of like you have to do this to kind of move up? Like, was that kind of discouraging for you at first, or were you like, okay, this is a part of the process, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna dive into it and give it all I got just so I can like move to ESPN or CBS?
And also, does not having a journalism major, has that impacted you as well in that movement?
Yeah, I don't think that has really impacted my movement. Like, nobody has really even asked me like if I went to school for journalism or anything.
That's dope.
But I think the biggest thing is like I've been pretty like selective and trying to figure out like what that next step would be for me, because I think the more traditional route would be somebody goes to like a small town market in like Alabama or Arkansas, and they're covering local high school football, and that is just a grind that It's not for me. Not for me. I respect. Yeah, I respect everybody who goes to those small markets and like works their way up. But my thought process was, I'm gonna do what I do and try to be the best at what I do, and try to make it that way. And in the process, I always reach out to people on like Twitter, or if I see somebody at another game at UNC, like, hey, how did you get to where you are? Or if you were in my position right now as a 28-year-old trying to make it, like, what would you be doing and how would you do things differently? So I think that's been the biggest thing for me, and just being patient and trusting that, the next move is going to come eventually.
Yeah. Well, you are the best at what you do, man. I'm always locked in, every time.
Sure.
So definitely thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Killing it inside Carolina.
That's also another thing where it's like, when I go to UNC games, it's like super humbling when people come up to me and they're like, we listen to your podcast, or we watch your videos, and it's like, thinking back to my Carolina days, like, I had 0 catches. I had 0 catches. I did not impact one game in the slightest bit. So somebody like Queese or somebody like Switz, like, they always had people coming up to them and like saying like how big of a fan they are. So that was like something for me that I kind of had to get used to. And it's always so appreciated and so kind when people do come up to me and they appreciate that somebody is being authentic with them and not giving them not holding back with their takes and giving their opinion. There are some people who kind of fight against the opinion, but vocal minority.
That's deep. That's deep.
You gotta put it out there.
That's deep.
So were you a historian like did you just rattled off some names like in baseball? Like, as a kid, did you always remember like players, and with sports has always been like a passion of yours?
Yeah. So growing up, that kind of ties into my dad. He didn't give me any athletic ability. He didn't give me any of this ability to talk about.
I don't know. Hold on. Can we put that picture of him and his dad up right here? Because I think his dad gave him his legs. Zoom in on his legs.
Much love to Pops, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to
But
Pops, man.
my mom's dad, so my grandpa, he was like a huge Yankee fan. And growing up, I would always get on the bus at his house. Just because my parents worked and my grandparents watched me until 6, 7 p.m. And he would always be listening to, like, he was one of those true New Yorkers who's listening to WFAN, the sports talk radio, all day. When the Yankee game is on, he's watching it like full volume. I'm in the corner, not allowed to talk. So it got to the point when I was like 6 or like 7 years old, where I would just wait for commercials to come on. And I would just know like a bunch of stats and a bunch of sports that I would want to talk to him about. And it was kind of like I was hosting my own show back then with him, because I wanted to have something, that I could bond with him over and talk about sports. So sports has always been like such a huge part of my life ever since, I was as young as possible. Whenever it was my birthday and my family asked me what to get, I would say, buy me anything sports and I'll like it. And I remember one birthday, I was probably 7. I gave that one guideline. It's one of the loosest guidelines you can have. And somebody bought me the Lord of the Rings trilogy DVD. I still have
7 years old.
I still have not watched Lord of the Rings because I refused to after that.
I mean, it could be a sport depending on how you look at it.
Lord of the Rings.
That's good stuff, man.
No, that's dope though. You got a pretty dope, journey, because one, having a goal coming to Carolina, track, that was at least your route, right? And then pivoting into football, and then exercise sports science. But talk about, for you, like, it feels as though you had a vision on what you wanted to do. At least you had an idea of something you wanted to do, and you was gonna make it happen either way. And in the field that you're in right now, you're making it happen. So how does that like happen for you?
Yeah, I think it's been something that like I've been seeing like more recently. Yeah. Because growing up, like I wasn't like super talkative. I wasn't like the most social person in high school. Like I probably have 3 friends that I keep in touch with from my high school days. Yeah. But like, so for me, like going to start talking on camera was like a drastic switch for me. And something that I wasn't like super comfortable at first with. And a lot of times now, like I get like so like I'm like so focused on like where I'm trying to get that like it's hard for me to process like how far I've come. And that's something I've tried to like deal with better, where it's like if I'm like really struggling one day to get like my thoughts across on a video, like I'll go back and watch like a video from that sports extra class in 2016, and I'm like, man,
you came a long way.
A long way. So that's been kind of something that I've been trying to deal with, where just so focused on the future that you kind of have to take a step back and kind of enjoy where you are in the present.
Wow, that's some deep stuff right there.
Everybody can apply that.
Right, because
Jeff couldn't come up with that.
Hey, 0-1, bro. 0-1. Hey, you better come on back.
What's the baseball player's name?
Wally Pipp.
Wally Pipp, aka Jeff Battle. No, but like I think it's easy to get discouraged like in the moment, because you're so focused on where you should be or where you're trying to go, and it seems so far away and so intangible. But then as soon as you go back and look and like, man, this is 5 years ago, I never thought I would be where I am today, and that's true motivation, and that's what can help you kind of refocus.
And I think another part of that is like I love to surround myself with other people that are super successful. So but when you do that, and I see people like some of my friends are in the NFL or in the NBA, like that's hard to compare yourself to, because my check looks a lot different. So I think that's been something too. But like it's like a balance of wanting to surround yourself with really successful people and having them be able to pick their minds and just kind of be in that culture of success. But at the same time realizing like you're good running your own lane and staying focused.
Staying in your lane.
Yeah, that's deep. We actually talked about that last week. Like, define success for you. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a good point. Like I say, we know plenty of guys write big checks every week, but that's their success. But we're living, we're happy, fitness, everything, health, and so that's success to me. You know what I'm saying? So what does success look like for you?
Yeah, I think success would just be doing something that like I just really enjoy, or something that really makes me happy. It's why I've been selective and trying to figure out what's next, because I do enjoy talking about North Carolina football or North Carolina basketball and having those experiences, going to the Final Four, going to the Orange Bowl. But success for me is just doing something like I really enjoy. Like on the side, I was telling CB that I coach high school basketball in the Charlotte area. And it's like, I don't do that for a check. I don't do that because I want to be the next coach of the North Carolina basketball team. I do that just because I just enjoy
20 years from now.
Speak it.
But I just enjoy being around those guys and being a part of something that helps them get better. So I think success to me would just be, doing something that you're really passionate about.
And making an impact too, especially about coaching, man. That's huge. When I was living down in Georgia, I actually had the pleasure of coaching a bunch of middle school kids, kind of started my own speed and agility program. Had a great turnout, and that was something that kind of stuck with me, like to always try to help people, And these kids weren't the most athletic kids, but it also taught me how to be patient, how to be patient and kind of work through frustrations and all that good stuff. So that's big. Giving back, helping out with coaching and stuff, that's huge.
I'm sure for you, it's probably because you're at an age where you can relate a lot better with the high school kids you're coaching. Because like me growing up, my high school coaches were 60. You know what I mean? So I really couldn't relate with them, and I didn't feel that they could feel my pain or they'd been through the same experience because it had been so long ago. Which in your case, you had been cut from a team and as a basketball team, so you can kind of motivate those kids like, hey, keep your head up, stay focused. You played at the D1 level, so you know what kind of commitment it takes to be successful. So talk to us about that relatability and the impact you've had in those kids' lives.
Yeah, I think that's a huge part of it, being somewhat close to them in age, where I can understand to some extent when they're talking about like the newest trends or the newest TikToks, even though that's probably when I feel the oldest, when they get the aux on like a bus trip, and I'm like, One, this doesn't sound good. Two, I have no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea what this is.
So that's probably what makes me feel the oldest. But at the same time, like it's so rewarding when you see a kid come in every day and get stronger in the weight room, or become a better basketball player, or do something that you coach them to do, and they're in the right position and they're ready to make a play. So that has been a great experience working with them. Actually, my first day at this school, I didn't have my paperwork in yet, so I was only able to watch from the sideline. And one of the kids came up to me the first day and was like, "You starting school here this year?" And I was like, I gotta grow a beard or something.
You gotta grow that one out.
So I might be telling you what to do with my paper clear.
Oh man,
you should have just rode the wave, man. Yeah. I think Eli Manning went to like some.
Oh, that was dope. That was dope. Yeah, that was dope. I watched that.
Yeah, you should have just rode the wave.
Jimmer Finette just did that too.
Did he?
Yeah, that was dope. That was dope.
That's cool. So, Keith, you mentioned health and fitness.
Yeah.
Are you still in your college shape? I mean, if you're not, that's okay. Right, we grow up older. I think you were telling me about you were playing ball with the guys and your back locked up.
First play.
You was working out with
first play.
So how do you stay in shape? How you stay fit?
Yeah. So endurance wise, probably significantly down. Like not running track, not running sprints on a consistent basis. But strength wise, my strength is up from the football days. Okay. I'm moving that way.
Okay.
But I was always somebody where I came from such a structured workout setting that once I got out of college, I would go in the weight room and I didn't know what to do. I would just wander around. I would watch somebody do an exercise and be like, I think that's something that I should do. Let me try to work that in. So I never had a great structure when I would go to the gym. I would go on social media and see some kind of workout and be like, okay, that's what I'll do today. So actually this past year I reached out to one of our football trainers, Simon, and I was telling him the same thing. When I go in a gym, I just kind of wander, and he came up with a full workout program for me, and then that's what kind of got me back in the gym. And it kind of puts those blinders on me when I'm in the gym, where I'm not really worried about somebody, because I could go on my phone and see what I have in this A block, this B block, the superset finisher. So shout out to Simon. Simon really helped me get back into it. And yeah, he's got me moving weight, man.
I saw Viv at Dow YMCA, and he prides himself on his legs. It was an upper body day, so I was like, I know you would rather be doing lower body, but it was good. Then I asked you I wanted to see your workout. And the workout that Simon provided for you was like a different language. I'm like, how do you stay? How do you go through this and stay on it?
First, I have to address I'm a big 5-inch inseam short guy. You gotta let.
Whoa.
Wait, what?
You got the 5-inch inseams.
I got you. No, I got you.
We'll have to
get the hoochie daddy shorts.
Yeah. That's what you probably saw me in that day.
Yeah.
It always just makes your legs look significantly better.
Right.
If I could ever find shorts like that, that's my preferred length of shorts.
Thank you.
But with those workouts for Simon, if I ever have a question, he's super responsive and have a text, and YouTube is one of the best inventions that we've probably ever had, where it's what is this workout? And I could watch a 3-minute video of somebody explaining it. So I think that's really been the biggest way of how I try to stay on top of it, and just knowing what I'm going to do and kind of having a set plan. It's a 4-day workout plan. So just knowing what I'm going to do Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, every week, before I even get started, is something that I think really helps me. And you just plug in the weight, and it has your percentages of what you're supposed to do. So all of it does that on itself for the Excel sheet. So it's not really a lot of thinking for me for what am I going to do for 10, 8, 6. So the less thinking in there, the better for me, and it's really helped.
And that's so crazy you say that. So couple weeks ago, right? As you all know, I'm an Orange Theory member. And a couple weeks ago, man, I didn't go to the gym at Orange Theory, so I decided to go to the gym downstairs in my apartment. And dude, I was in there for 10 minutes. I was like, you know what? Bump this. Because it was just like I was trying to figure out what to do. Like, I feel like I wasn't doing this right. So that just goes back to show like how having that structure through football kind of like, I don't know if it kind of like stabilizes you to always depend on that, but that's big that you were able to kind of tap back in with Simon and say, hey, I need this from you because, like I say, I was struggling. And I'm like, I done worked out for 7 years every day of my life.
I should know what to do.
I should know what to do, but I don't. And it's just like, I was like, man, this don't even feel right. So I just went on and booked a session for tomorrow. Like, yo, I'm not working out on my own ever again. Like,
how important though is working out? Because a lot of people don't work out daily. Yeah. Charles, I know you got an amazing fitness company, Fit for Life.
Yes, sir. Shout out Fit for Life.
Shout out Fit for Life. But like, how important is it? Because I know growing up, if you're an athlete, of course you're going to be active, right? But a lot of people, normal, just every day-to-day people, they're not working out every day. Some people working from home right now, they're not getting out at all. But like, how important is that from a physical standpoint, but also from a mental standpoint? Because I know for me, when I'm waking up in the morning, if I'm able to go and work out, and when I get back, I feel so refreshed. Even if I didn't want to, I feel so refreshed, and I feel like, man, I can go and actually tap into a different level of myself to make sure I'm available for you. I'm available from the people that's around me. You know, but like, you know, what's your thoughts on that?
So for me, like, fitness has always been important because my dad was in it. Right, and I watch him, like, you know, do these extreme workouts, and I'm trying to figure out why. He's not.
Shout out to Pops.
Shout out to Pops.
Grinding.
Only thing he's doing is you know, noon or 12 o'clock basketball daily.
Every day
from 12 to 2, and he's 63 now, so he hasn't played as much. But you know, growing up, I saw that, and it would be he would play basketball for 2 hours, and he'd go work out for about an hour and a half. And I'm like, you know, that kind of created that structure that I needed. But to your point, is also, and I think we talked about it from like a mental health standpoint. It's therapy for me. I work out because I'm able to kind of escape the world that I'm in and get into a totally different world. I'm focused, you know, there's no distractions. And then when I finish, I feel so much better. Right. But I think, like, you know, for those that are watching, if you're not an athlete, you know, a lot of people are just trying to get into the city boy, city girl body. You know what I mean?
Hot girl summer.
Hot girl summer.
Who's up right now? City boy?
I think city boys. But, you know, like, for those that are trying to get their body right, you know, for social media or whatever, which is great because you're really doing two things. One, physically you look good, but two, you're helping yourself from a healthy standpoint. But you don't have to work out nearly as hard if you eat better. And that's my problem. I love food, man. Oh.
Hey, Jeff, I know you over there eating right now.
I love food. I work out because I love food. You know what I mean?
So, big thing is, I think working out, you just got to understand why you're doing it, you know, and I think that's a big thing for me. Like, once I got done playing football, I probably went 6-7 months without stepping a foot in the gym. And I started feeling tired, not having as much energy. I started getting a little pudge or whatever. And I was just like, dude, come on, man. You've worked out 6 years straight every day for 6 years. Like, get back in the gym, man. Ever since I stepped back in the gym, dude, I lost 12 pounds. Like, I feel great, and it's something I look forward to. And like Charles said, it's been a huge mental health for me. Like, by me living alone, I kind of get down in the dumps a lot, always in my head about stuff. And like, I'm like, yo, I'm going to the gym at 5:30. Like, that's the highlight of my day. And then when I'm done, it's just like, I feel like a whole new person, you know? So the biggest thing with working out is just understand why you're doing it. Understand why you're doing it. Obviously, because you want to live longer, you want to be healthy. But yeah, that's huge. That's why I work out. So
I got a question. So we all like working out, but you know, do y'all go to the doctor? I mean, from maybe I don't know if it's a culture thing, right? But for me, growing up, I didn't really trust the doctors, right? So I really never have pushed myself and stayed on a normal regimen of going to the doctor and getting physicals. I had to do physicals for sports, but ever since when that ended, my physicals stopped. I stopped getting physicals. You know what I mean? So, Taylor, you get physicals?
Yeah, I try to go once a year on my birthday. Just because that's kind of like my reminder to go. There's some ones that I'm probably a lot better at going to than others. Like I hate going to the dentist. I feel like they always find a problem, and it's the most painful problems to fix, and the most expensive. Yeah. So the last time I went to the dentist, I got a root canal. I'm still paying for it. Yeah. I'm still in the monthly payment to pay for that. 2 years.
Those things are expensive. They're expensive.
Yeah, but see, so the thing with that, I had to get one at Carolina, but I utilized, like me being on scholarship, like, yo, I got to get this done now because you can't really afford it back at the crib. But my mom was always big on we going to the dentist twice a year. Like, if we didn't do nothing else, we was in the dentist. Shout out Mom Dukes. We were in the dentist. So that's something since I've been on my own, taking care of myself, I make sure I go to the dentist at least twice a year for sure. Yeah. So
your last dental experience wasn't that great though.
It wasn't that great. Just from what I
speak on it. What happened?
Yeah, they had me in pain, and I'm usually good at the dentist. Like root canal didn't bother me. Like just a regular cleaning. So I'm probably gonna be looking for a new dentist. They actually sent me a text. It said I got an appointment November 1st. Yeah. So I got to get on it. I got about 3 weeks to find me another dentist.
You got floss.
I was just about to ask that.
Yeah.
Are you guys the people that, like, when you know you have the dentist coming up, you're like, man, you're crabbing for the exam.
Everybody watching this, you are that person. You are that person.
You know?
Yeah. I do a lot of flossing the week before the appointment. But
they can tell that, though.
Yeah, they know.
That's crazy. How?
Okay, this is perfect. Let's tie these two things in.
There's a lot of inflammation. Go ahead.
Yes, they do know. But I think dentists and sports commentators can be in the same field because they're both honest, bro.
Make me feel bad.
The dentist I had, I'm not going to say the place, but she was like, "Huh?" I was like, "Look, I already know. You ain't got to tell me the truth." You know what I'm saying? So what I ended up doing, if you don't like flossing, right? I got big teeth, as you can see. Go get you a water pick.
Water pick.
Yeah, water floss, right? Whatever you want to call it. It's so much easier. It's so much easier, and you really feel like you're in the dental chair, like the way. And we got a couple dentists that we play ball with.
Cam Campbell.
Campbell.
In the Charlotte area.
Gotta get Cam on.
And EJ.
I gotta check if Cam takes my insurance.
So Cam is in Charlotte, right?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. You got 4 new clients, maybe 5.
But on that overall though, just health in general from a dental perspective, working out, it's very big. And so we're drinking wine that has, different perspectives from people of like, hey, is that healthy or not? Some people say 1 glass of wine is healthy, throughout your life. People live a little bit longer. But at the end of the day, you need to focus on the other areas of health, from, working out, from going to the doctor every year. I know for me, I don't do a good job of doing that. My mom hits me up about that and going, hey, have you gone? And, even my brother. So, but yeah, that's something that, we have to do, and we got to challenge each other on wanting to do.
I think the biggest thing with that is a lot of people are fearful of the doctor. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people like, I feel good, so ain't nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like one of those things where it's like you'll feel even better after you go and have somebody else tell you like everything's good, you're great, and they can tell you, hey, maybe you need to start working out more, or you need to start eating better, and that's just kind of thing that drive you to that fitness success or health success, if you want to call it.
I'll say, because we were talking about like culture and habits. Growing up, and especially in the black home, like the home that I grew up in, and really all my family members that I'll speak to is we had bad habits, right? But it was habits that were normal. So it'd be a situation where we were drinking Kool-Aid, and if we weren't drinking Kool-Aid for dinner, it'd be sweet tea.
What was your favorite flavor Kool-Aid?
I like fruit punch.
I used to mix grape and lemon.
Grape and lemon.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But putting sugar in foods, that's what we did. Sugar and grits. Look, don't judge me.
No, I've never put sugar in grits. And people who do that, I judge them. Sugar and jelly and grits?
Not sugar and grits.
You're supposed to put cheese, salt, pepper, and butter in grits. If you want to do sugar, you eat oatmeal.
Sugar and grits, sugar and spaghetti.
Nah. Sugar and
Buddy the Elm?
I had to throw spaghetti out there with my Italian friend here, right?
Yeah. But even in our community, in the black community, it's been a stigma, especially for black men, going into the doctor and things not happening as expected. And so that's something traumatically that is, ingrained. That is even with our own fathers and people. We get those examples, and even our mothers and whatnot. We get those examples of, hey, yeah, go to the doctor, but there's a little bit of fear with it, and so that's why and it's not as easy for everybody to go. But yeah, we encourage everybody to definitely get checked out for sure.
You were saying you had like NBA friends, and I was afforded the opportunity to go to the NBA Finals with you last year, which was super cool. Thanks to Justin Jackson. What I really found about that, because we were talking about success and being in different lanes, is that the people that we kind of idolize, right? They're just people, and they're humble, right? Justin is a super humble guy. If it didn't have the jersey on, he speaks to anybody. You know what I mean? So kind of talk to us about the relationships you have with some of those guys, like even Marcus Page.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing and like why I've been friends with him is like we just have normal, friendly relationships. Like we get on our PlayStations and we play Fortnite, and I know if I FaceTime Mac Hollins right now, like the first thing he's gonna do is roast me for something either my hair or something I say. Like it's just like a normal friend conversation where it's not like if like you said, if Justin wasn't in the NBA, I would still love him like he was my brother. If Mac wasn't in the NFL, like I would still want to hang out with him before I hang out with like a ton of other people. But like it is cool to know that like you do have friends that are at the very top of their profession. Like on Sundays, like I'm scrolling Twitter and I'm like, what are people saying about Mac? Or after Justin has a good game, like the first thing I want to do is see the reception and the praise that they get. Even though I know like those two examples, like they're staying as far away from social media, but I like to see their success and cheer them on. And even like for somebody like Mac, like if I'm going out to like one of his games, I know those tickets are coming out of like his check, so I'm like, hey, if you want me to like Venmo you for the tickets, like I have no problem doing that. I think just because like if me and Mac are hanging out senior year at Chipotle, like he's not buying my Chipotle, so like why if I'm going out to Vegas is he buying my Chipotle? Like I got a job just like he does. It's not as good pay, but I think the fact that like we've been able to keep all our relationships the same, and it's not like something where I'm not asking them to buy me a Rolex, or I'm not asking them to buy me a new car. I'm still pushing that 2016 Honda Civic going through.
Good on gas.
Perfect on gas.
Yeah, but I think just having those relationships where they've been the same from the first time I met him up until now. And you mentioned how we went to the NBA Finals together, but that was kind of like a two-way street where I go out to Phoenix, I give you a ticket, but you let me stay with you. I think that was like something that you deserve a shout out for being a great host that weekend. And it was a great trade.
We also golfed, and I whooped Taylor. I'll let him tell you nothing different. I ain't gonna lie.
Is that true?
No.
Hey, he was on Snapchat the entire time, getting all his videos right. Hey, take a picture of me before I hit this ball. First off, it was so hot out there. It was like 115 degrees.
Never golf in 115 degree weather. After we got
he tapped out after the second hole.
No, it was like hole 8. It's like the plan was you get halfway through a course, it's supposed to be some type of refreshments. You know what I mean? Well, they were closed, or they were
no
mobile.
type of refreshments.
Not no refreshments.
It was the SpongeBob meme where he's just so dry, so thirsty, where he's like, whoa. That's what it felt like. We were out there. We were like putting towels on our head, just trying to stay cool any way possible. But
I mean,
the sun won that
for
day.
one of y'all was in Phoenix. I mean,
but it was still a cool experience.
It was
in July. The best golf courses, I would say. I mean, I haven't been to all of them, but the views in Phoenix, Scottsdale area on the course is amazing.
Yeah, and I want to kind of touch on what Vip said, and that's thing with like me and Charles. Like he the one that keep all the pictures and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So throughout the week, he may throw a picture from freshman year, and I'm like, dang, bro, we've really been tight since then. So it's no reason to like change up or try to like alter the friendship. Like it's just real as it gets. So that kind of go back to what you were saying about how you got friends in the NFL, NBA, whatever. It's just like you don't even see that. You see, man, we was sleeping on each other's couch in Rams, or yo, let me get some of your swipes to eat tonight. You know what I'm saying? So that's a big thing. Like always find that foundation in friendships. You know what I'm saying? Never build a friendship off status. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's huge. I think that's huge.
Yeah, and it's super cool to see like those two examples. For instance, like Justin in the NBA and Mac in the NFL, like take that next step in their lives and like watch them be dads. Like I go out to their games and like I see them interacting with like their baby girls, and it's like this is the same dude that I was driving up to DC with during bye weeks, like freestyle rapping in cars. And, like, now I see him as a dad and taking that like next step. So that's been like something like I've been super proud to see them kind of take that next step as well.
Yeah, that's facts. All right, man. Well, hey, it was so good to have my boy Vip here today, man. UNC alumni. We're going to stick together all the time. So, Jeff, you got some work cut out for you, my boy.
One thing right quick, though, on what you were saying, Vip, about not comparing yourself to other people and whatnot. I think that, especially for other people that have people that are doing well or that are around you that are doing well, don't get so tied to your outcome. Right? Don't get so tied to where you're at right now. You are surrounding yourself around people to be able to amplify you, right? And to be able to at least give you those inspirations. And while you're on your journey, you're able to take things to another level. And just stay committed, though, to where you're trying to go. But don't worry about the outcome. Like, hey, it's going to happen based off of, the attributes that's around you, the work and the effort that you're putting in. And so a lot of people, when you're out there, don't look at other people as a detraction from you. It's not something that's like, hey, I need to do this a little bit more. Everybody's formula is different in life.
Stay in your own lane.
Stay in your own lane, and and then from there you'll be able to realize your real greatness.
Yeah. I think the best example that I have from that is like when I have friends that try to start videos or do like podcasts, and like they always ask me for tips, and the first thing I like always ask them is like, what are you like trying to get out of it? And I feel like everybody always has like different motives, but like the biggest thing for me is like I just like putting out content. Like it doesn't matter to me if one person is listening to it or 50,000. And that's kind of been something for me where it's like you have to figure out your why and why you want to do something. So for me, that's whenever like people reach out to me, like if a UNC student reaches out to me, that's always the biggest thing I say to them, because like you guys have done this for 5 episodes. Like you guys know it's a grind. Like coming up with topics, setting schedules, figuring out what you're gonna do, editing it all together.
Shout out my boy Jeremy.
Pushing it on,
effort,
pushing it on social media. Like like it's a grind, and like especially when you're like trying to build something from like the ground up. Like a lot of people, they'll watch like the Pivot podcast or a podcast like that and see the numbers they're putting up, and they're like, oh, I could do that. And then like they try to do it, and like the first episode doesn't go their way. So they're like, all right, I'm off.
This is like,
bro, that's crazy you say that, because when we first started, man, it was always the idea that was thrown out like, bro, we need to do a podcast, call it Wine Talk Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, you know what? Let's do it. Like, so we finally was like, let's just go ahead and do it. We all got together, and dude, it's been a grind, bro. It's been a grind. Like you said, finding the schedule, just coming up with all these ideas, and just like every day it's a new idea. And it's like, we got to do it. We got to do it. We got to do it. So I think that's huge, bro. Like, especially us starting out doing this.
What makes it rewarding, kind of like Vip said, 50,000 or one, right? Yeah. I got one supporter, really two that I can think of, but Randy Smith, right?
Yeah.
Every episode, Randy sent me a message. And it touches me in a different way, right? But I know, and the thing is, I know that we have that one viewer, and I know that I'm talking to Randy, right? Yeah. And I also know that like the relationship, the bond that we have is genuine, and it can't be broken, right? So the content that comes out is authentic,
it's real,
right?
It's real.
And we enjoy each other's presence, you know what I mean? So same thing for everybody out there. Find something that you're passionate in, right? Because we always got to do our key takeaways. We're not gonna let Jeff say y'all missed the key takeaways. Find something that you're passionate in, right? Do it because you love it, right? Stay committed, stay focused, right? And whether it's 50,000 or one, right? Just keep pushing through. Just keep pushing through it, and the ultimate success is within.
Definitely.
You agree with that?
That touched me.
Hey, look, I'm telling you, CB, he come with it every single time.
THB, man.
THB, the humble brag. Hey, well, thank you so much for joining today. Please like, please share, subscribe, and thank you so much for always supporting. And we cannot wait to see you next week. We want to thank Vip for joining in.
Vip.
My God.
Some solid stuff, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, we keep that. I don't know why I switched it off.
All right, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. We will see y'all next week for episode 6. Peace.